Hello, I'm here.
Okay, hello, Chief.
Hi, Chief.
Just waiting on people coming in.
I see Dinty.
Yeah, I like the mouth item. I'm not sure who made it for the Central Park station in the new Central Park.
Oh, the maps?
Yeah.
Those are all me.
Okay. I mean, they're usually you, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, because I'm the one who has the font awesome stuff all installed.
That's the font you use.
Yeah, well, so the text is usually with Helvetica or Avenir, but the icons, those all come from a library called Font Awesome.
I've never heard of Font Awesome before.
It's pretty nice. I like it.
I'll open it up in another tab and look at it after the meeting.
Okay, Missa said he would be here or trying to get on. I think that's the only person we're really waiting on. I miss it.
Yeah, Vicky, at one point I was considering do I try and make similar ones to the Central Park one for the other Central City terminals, but then I was like, nah.
Okay, are we good to go?
I'm fine. I have everything I need.
Chief, you want to get started?
Yeah, we can. I guess we gotta. Oh yeah, we very much have quorum at this point, so we're good to get going. So yeah, this is the first staff meeting of the new year. Hi, everybody. And first up on the agenda is 5A, because there was a conductor application, but that was withdrawn. No mod nominations, nothing that staff need to announce of a private thing, so we're straight into community issues, starting with Central Park.
Actually, one thing, Chief, this might come irrelevant, but can we just do a roll call of who's here?
Yeah.
For activity purposes, because we haven't been really keeping track of this information.
Yeah, good point. So staff present are Polo, Skelly, Vicky, Needon, Dinty, Missa, myself, and Frumple. So that's 8 out of the, I think we're down to 15 now that Sinra has made the decision to step down
You
as of
think
this
it's
morning.
13?
You're right, because it was 14, now it's dropped to 13. You're right. Thank you, Vicky.
Also, for proposals, quorum's now 7, isn't it?
Correct.
Vicky, would you mind writing that roll call down in the minutes, just so there's a written record somewhere?
Okay.
I'm not sure where you put it,
though. I could put
top of
it.
the minute, probably.
Yeah.
I'll put it. I'll put it right beneath the remember part.
Thanks.
There you go. Okay.
Now 5.
Now 5A. Okay, cool. So Yoshi and Simon and Ox and a couple others have built this new Central Park thing. I helped out with the maps. There's been a bunch of really good discussion about this in the Discord thread so far. But I think the proposal is to just make sure that there aren't any other major changes that we want to do, and then approve this to be pasted in, is what I understand. So I guess we'll just open the floor if anyone has any comments that they want to make that haven't already been discussed in the proposals thread.
I'll just add on to what I've said in that channel. I did go talk with Yoshi and Simon about the whole the initial proposal for this without going through a GSM. From my understanding, it looks like. Also, it seems like Yoshi did most of the work. It's like about 90% from my understanding, and also they seem to be under the impression that because the precedent of the old Central City Park was built without any sort of staff meeting approval or community approval even, they thought that would be the precedent here. But I did remind them that was like 5, 6, maybe even more years ago. The server is very different now. And the precedent now is that any sort of major projects like this, especially Spawn, because that's going to be used by everyone, new guests, new members, existing members, that should be something that the community should have a say in, or at least, have at least take a look at. So there are also concerns that 1 week during December was not enough time for people to look over it because people were gone for vacations or not here for the holidays. So hence why, this sort of thing should have gone through a GSM. So I guess what I'm saying is, for any of these sort of projects in the future, just like how we did with the AdMod building, you should err on the side of, passing it through the community, because it is a project for the community. I don't like, you want to make sure to get feedback from them, because they're essentially the client, the people that are actually going to the users of this sort of thing. So
Well, and especially for Central Park, because that is the first impression that somebody gets as soon as they connect. So yeah.
It should be. Chief, you only added the signs after Yoshi revealed it to you and me, right? So it was sort of a coincidence, because I was starting to work on my Central Park design. I asked you for signs,
right?
And then suddenly there's this other park appeared that Yoshi was designing, and then I was like, okay, let's use those signs there. But it should be noted that the original design, I don't think there wasn't any plan to have those signs in there.
I think you and I had discussed needing some maps for a park anyway, so then I was able to kind of redo them to match this. So that a lot of that was already done. But yeah, I agree that for such a monumental thing, it's probably good to go through this route. I will note, just as another point, there's nothing wrong if someone wanted to start working on something like this in the lab world or wherever, just as an example of toying around with things. And then, if you create something that you want to propose, then proposing it at a later step. But I think, just solidifying that, getting that official, that for big projects like this that do impact everybody, I agree that we should be changing that general process to favor an official stamp of approval at a staff meeting, just to give everybody the time to review it and provide feedback.
Okay. One other point I want to make is, this park is not final by any means. Like, we should be the biggest frustration I had with the old park was, like, obviously I found its pathfinding bad, but also the fact that I felt like I wasn't able to make any meaningful improvements to it. That includes the welcome center, that includes Spawn itself. I don't want to fall into that same pattern here. So if there are reasonable changes that make sense, or improvements that make sense to the Spawn Park, we should be open to, changing those things, right? I don't want to be stuck with this park basically, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, it is a very big good improvement on the old one, but I just want to be open to evolving it to make it better. So
Agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
did anyone have any, so outside of all that's a whole other thing, that's kind of a meta topic. Did anyone actually have any specific things about the park that you think it could be improved, or something to consider for later? Like, any thoughts on that?
Does the expo line getting realigned mean that Dynmap has to get changed?
The Expo and Zephyr lines. The Expo tracks for sure will need to get redone.
I could volunteer to do it if you need me to.
Yeah, thankfully it's broken up by extension, so you don't have to do the entire line.
Yeah, it should just be. I'm not sure how it was done, but I'm assuming like just.
I think. No, I think that there are two segments from the original Expo West that stops at Central Park, and then another segment picks up at Central Park and goes east.
I don't know. I could look it up later.
Yeah.
And looking on beta, it looks like the railway on the park that circles around the hill is broken, but that can be fixed easily if it's pasted on the New World on our server.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I think this will be a good improvement. I really like the fact that we are going to be adding a random airport button. That'll be hopefully very useful. As I know that, guests coming on and asking where's the airport, that is a big meme. But otherwise, I think just having all this stuff, very clearly labeled out, works really nicely. So,
I think the ultimate test will be how new guests react to it. Hopefully, I'm hoping to see that this might help retain guests. It's kind of hard. We don't have hard data on it, but I kind of wonder if guests came onto the old Spawn, got confused, and just left. I'm hoping maybe this would help. Also, and this is in 5D, I'd be very interested in hearing the opinions of other, like the Syscraft people, other server admins and stuff, of what they would think about this one. I'm going to be very honest. If we still had the old Spawn, I would probably not be applying to that server showcase, because I think it's pretty obvious this old Spawn would not go well with those people, because there would be a lot of feedback around that, and not the good.
Yeah, this one definitely feels a lot more polished.
Yeah,
especially with these excellent maps, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I think the maps especially help bring the Central Park to a much more modern standard that more recent projects have been setting, it seems like. So good job, Chief. You did good.
Thank you. Well, and good job to Yoshi for all the work of actually doing the landscaping and making stuff look nice.
Yeah, I do. I mean, this isn't really a function thing, but I do like just some small details that were added around Central Park for this iteration.
I did post something in the channel. Didn't really see any feedback on. We don't have to talk about too much here. It could be a separate topic. But what did anyone have any preliminary thoughts about the Fast Boys and the bus depot to the? I think it's the east, west. I don't remember which direction. I think it is east. Yeah.
East. Yeah, I ended up just setting a home there, but if due to how useful it is, it might be worthwhile having something closer to Central Park.
Yeah.
If possible.
Well, that and or like right here or something to put
Sign there.
yeah, like
That's
around
all
over
right.
here to add some signage, just to be like, just keep going this way to get them. So but again, I think that's something that making it easier to make changes to the park administratively, that would be a good thing. So
Yeah, Yoshi, I'm not sure if I agree with that, because based on what I've seen, they are used to get around,
especially by guests.
Yeah. Alternatively, also there. So over there is the Fast Boys depot, and there's also the old UCars depot. That one has been abandoned. I kind of wonder if we should change that to using the vehicles plugin, perhaps. Like, it might be kind of cool for new guests to just see, oh, there's like sports cars or bikes that they can ride on there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think the plan.
Yeah, I don't think it's niche.
Yeah, I think the plan is I'll make a separate topic for maybe February GSM. I also have to talk to Hud about the bus depot, because apparently that's the UC, and I don't know. Apparently he technically owns that, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
But I think the general consensus that I'm hearing is that generally people like this, and that there might need to be a couple tweaks that we make now, a couple tweaks that we might make in February, but otherwise it seems like people are good with swapping out Central Park for this new one.
Okay. Is the plan? I guess Simon will paste it in, because he pasted on beta. Maybe I'll leave it to him.
Yeah, Yoshi, do you know what the plan? Do you guys have a plan of how you want to install
Yoshi
it?
did say that he has a method for doing it in chunks.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So Yoshi said Simon and I will work to paste it in and get it all set up. Okay, great. So I guess we'll leave it to you guys then. You have full approval.
Okay.
Just within like the next few days. Yeah. Okay. I'll just put that in the minutes.
Yeah. Let me know when you're done, Yoshi, when that's done, because again, the world download, I plan to just do it right after, or at least start grabbing it.
Okay, great.
Okay.
That's approved. 5B. I guess this one about the custom tab list. I mean, we've been using it we got it on right now, so.
If you haven't looked at the thread, and this I feel is a better way of doing things, like getting feedback and just iterating. You can see how I started with just adding all the things to the tab list. Like, it's capable. You can put channel and money and all that stuff. But then from feedback, it seems like, yeah, that's too much information. That's not really needed.
Yeah.
So it's been cut down to what you see now. I do know there's some debate on whether to keep these small caps for the first two lines at the top. That's the title and the URL. I've seen kind of both opinions, wanting both to keep the small caps and to go back to the normal text. And I was hoping we would discuss that here.
Let me open up the thread real quick. I know like a lot of people say the top, like the small caps at the top looks weird, but I personally don't mind it. I can see where they're coming from, don't get me wrong. I think it's just partially. I mean, for me, it's a preference thing, but I can understand people who disagree.
Mhm.
18 players, and it's taking up my entire screen if I open it.
Yeah, I think I just put a note in the meeting channel. I think that's because of I don't know if this is configurable, but Minecraft, the just vanilla Minecraft tab list, doesn't split into two columns until there are 20 people or until there are 21
Yeah.
people online.
Yeah, my understand from what I looked in this particular plugin, there is no way to configure that. So it's just
Yeah.
in a way it's basically just sort of window dressing on top of what Minecraft does. Yeah. So Minecraft is
Yeah.
controlling when it splits, I believe.
Yeah, and plus its like size on the screen is based off of the UI scale setting in your just your client side Minecraft settings.
Yeah, I found that anything over GY scale 2 is too big.
Mhm.
I play with 2, and with 18 players, it takes up the top a little less than half the screen.
I used to do 3 for the MRT, and the new tablet makes it a bit big.
Yeah, it's like it does take up like more space, but I can see the argument for it taking up too much space.
Anyway,
Okay.
in terms of the stuff that's in the in terms of stuff that's in the tab list, yeah, I like that. It feels more modern, again, kind of similar to the Central Park stuff of makes it feel more modern.
Yeah.
Actually highlights who is a staff person if you're not immediately, if you don't immediately remember who's who. But
Actually, is anyone else seeing Fred's name cut off at the bottom of the tab list?
So again,
it's at the bottom because he's a spectator.
yeah, spectator mode. That's something the plugin can't.
No,
control.
no, I mean his name is
No, he's
literally
showing up on the
getting
list.
cut off.
Yeah, for me, it's the full name.
Yeah, Skelly, unfortunately, that's a display issue on your end. The name is showing up, but if you don't have the real estate to show it, then it might not be showing up all the way for you.
Yeah, on 19, I can already. I guess this is why a lot of servers don't have so much spacing at the top and bottoms, because I can see that the commands on my screen, if you look on the stream too, it's cut off on the bottom. So I don't know. It's not like we're gonna get 19, 20 players that often. It's usually around 5 to 10 usually.
Yeah, the reason it's 19 now is because of the GSM.
Yep.
So did we come to a conclusion with the small caps thing? I don't know if we need to make a rough survey question or something, if that's needed.
I mean, I think just if we wanted to do a quick poll to do something like that, but I'm not. I mean, it's a cosmetic thing. It's not a big deal.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna go with this. Again, it's not gonna be perfect. But if there are issues, you can let me know. But in a lot of cases, I may not be able to fix it because it's, again, the limitations of how Minecraft and the plugin works.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, like for small changes, like if it becomes like a more serious thing, like to change the top cap, I know top caps, like the small caps, it like small changes like that, I don't think would really need a GSM.
No, that can just be a survey question, or if there's a lot of people who have opinions on it.
You know, this community, they can be pretty pedantic about these sort of things. So
I am aware that there's a lot of pedantic people, but thankfully, all of the stuff that needs to be set for accuracy is accurate. At this point, it's just cosmetics. Okay, I think this is approved as is, and thanks for testing it out, Frumple, and um, we'll continue to iterate as we need to.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. 5C, allow debug stick for trustees and above.
Yeah, this is mainly coming from not me actually. It's really Tuck, who's not haven't seen him in a while. They really want a debug stick, or at least the World Edit Cycle tool, which is pretty much the same thing. So I looked back. The January, which GSM was it? Yeah, exactly 2 years ago. At that GSM, we did discuss the debug stick, and apparently there's a large concern about invisible blocks being produced by the stick to the point where we decided not to add it. But I'm wondering, is that really an issue? Or was that really an issue?
I very vaguely remember talking about the debug stick, but I don't really remember of the invisible block thing.
To Skelly, just to be clarified, the issues aren't gone. All I'm doing here is reintroducing this topic because there have been a lot of people, you can see in the thread too, that really do want debug stick. It would also, lessen some of the responsibility on conductors a bit.
Yeah, back then, wasn't debug stick changes not logged in Core Protect?
They were, no, actually, I looked back the minutes, they were logged, even in January 2021. So that's never been an issue. For some reason, the narrative, I don't know where this came from, but somehow there was an impression that these weren't recorded by Core Protect in the 2 years between, but I don't know how we got to that point.
I mean, honestly, it's a case of if someone uses a debug stick to create invisible blocks, that invisible and like blocks that actually impede you from moving around, and they're not barriers and they can't be easily dealt with. The fact that Core Protect logs it means that that we can figure out who did it and then issue a warning off of that, because that would fall under a griefing thing of calling or just causing chaos and not using that in the spirit of how it's meant to be used. So, since that is the case, that Core Protect does log, then and that we're setting the barrier at trustee, not member, then I'm not particularly concerned about that.
Yeah, I think for now, there's no huge reason. If the invisible block thing does become a problem, of course, we could revisit it at a later GSM. But I just don't see changing it don't see limiting it as necessary right now.
So about the invisible wall thing, I've tested it around a bit, and apparently HTTS as well. And we haven't noticed that the invisible wall blocks or impedes the movement. Like it's only when it's visible that it impedes movement. So that shouldn't be an issue.
So it doesn't impede movement while it's invisible.
Yeah, so the only thing it does as an invisible thing is that if you emit invisible wall, is that if you put another wall next to it or another block, it updates and then it partially shows again or something. But
sure, and
so
then you can't put a block in that space. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, that's not really a big issue then.
Yeah.
Correct.
I can see in the future maybe someone forgets to uninvis something and some other person tries to place a block there and get confused. I guess staff will just have to remember they'll just have to keep in mind that they can check for that and then see if it is an invisible block, right?
Yes, and that staff or conductors can always just world edit something into that block space if you're not sure. Just select a big region around it, do a set 1, set 0 to reset that block.
Okay. I don't know. This is a weird topic because I'm just puzzled by why we didn't go for it all those years ago. But
yeah, I think because I mean, as you said, that it was that flawed narrative that it wasn't logged with Core Protect, but
Yeah.
I, yeah, at this point, it seems like there's a lot of good reasons to do it, and the concerns are generally addressed. So, unless anyone has um, any objections at this point, I think we're good to approve.
Okay, cool. I'll add those permissions soon, later today.
Cool. All right, that is approved. Trustees, have fun. Please don't break it.
Oh, and I'll also add the world edit cycler tool, and also there's a info tool which actually tells you information about a block. So, yeah, hopefully.
Nice. Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Yeah, those are informational, so go ahead and we can go ahead and add them.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. 5D.
Okay, me again. Hi. Yeah. I just came across this because I'm in that community, mostly because of _11. Yeah. Yeah, this Syscraft is it's a spin-off of Admincraft, which is a subreddit. There's some drama that you don't have to get into, but basically it's a community of sysadmins, other server owners, developers around Minecraft. They've done this server showcase before. I think there are like 20 servers that they looked at. Vast majority of them were like SMPs, survivals, maybe a couple RP servers here and there. So for us to go into this showcase will be quite, I think, a bit different since we're so old and so niche. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, and how it works is they have a Discord thread. They put in feedback, everything from the spawn, the website, the tab list. This is why I kind of installed the tab list, because every other server has one now, so we're kind of behind on times there. Yeah. Not sure what else to say. Like, basically, my plan was to ask if we could sign up for this. Ask you guys. I'll sign our server up, and at some point, I'd say in the next few months, there'll be 1 week of where those people from Syscraft will come here and look around. I'm not sure how it's going to work because we're gray listed. So as a guest, they can at least do some stuff, but they won't be able to go on our Discord, which some feedback, I've seen some feedback around. And there's also been talk of whether, do we want to give them special permissions or stuff like that? But I don't know. I'm sort of leaning toward just leaving it as is if they really want to get in. And they're mostly sysadmins at like mods and stuff, so I would think they're fairly smart. They should be able to get the member app fairly easily. But again, they might provide feedback about the member app too. Let's say it's too hard or too easy. I don't know. So
yeah, my thought on membership is they should at least need to do it once, just so that they can see what the process is and be able to provide feedback on that, because that is something that we do hear about from time to time.
Yeah.
Is just people either not understanding the process, or if they think the questions are too hard, or that they're not sure what to do, or things like that. That said, I guess what's the barrier to entry that they have in terms of getting on or being a part of that community?
Yeah.
Because if it's a case where membership of that server, like you have to be involved with running a server in order to do that, then I would be comfortable allowing them to somewhat fast track, because that would enable feedback. That would, like, if they did an application and we were able to fast track it, then they could at least experience, have a much higher likelihood of experiencing the membership side of things during the review period.
Okay. Several good points coming in meeting channel. So answering Mrs. question, I don't think we'll be able to do trustee because, again, we only have 1 week, a window of 1 week where they'll be coming in and evaluating our server. I don't think based on our requirements, they won't be able to get to trustee anyway.
No, they wouldn't be eligible.
So yeah, that's not unfortunately going to happen.
Unless they decide to stick around, which could happen, but I'm not betting on it.
Yeah, I think again, it would be nice if we could get a few people on here, but again, based on what I've seen, these people are almost like busy running their own servers, so
Sure.
I don't know if they'd come here. But this is mostly just to get again feedback, but also get the word out because again, a lot of this, a lot of the new members that we've gotten come from word of mouth, from people knowing it from other people. So I think this would help in that regard. The one thing,
My perspective, the most important things to get feedback on are that kind of first impression stuff. So the spawn point, the member application process, whether we fast track it or legitimately approve somebody, what that kind of first rank of the membership looks like, kind of the community integration, things like that. The stuff that I think is the reason why someone, you know, why we get a lot of people who are just guests and they never apply,
yeah,
or that
I,
they never like become, full community members for whatever reason. I mean, we're never going to get 100%,
yeah.
but
Now that
um,
the new spawn is in, I think that to me that was the weakest part. So I think the light's been elevated. I think the weakest part of it might be the website now because I don't know if you've noticed the rules page is still a long ass thing. Ranks is
we do
one
have a
of
lot
those.
of rules.
Yeah, I think that I I don't know if we want to try. I don't know if anyone has Chief or Sam's not here, but like if we have any thoughts of just looking through the website, and just cleaning up some of those pages before they come in, or maybe we just wait until they give us feedback and then we'll act on that. I'm
I'd
not
like to
sure.
get feedback on what's specifically stands out because at this point we've glazed like our eyeballs are probably glazed over from the number of times that we've tried to do this.
That's true.
Yeah, it would be very valuable for a press perspective because a lot of people here, I don't think most of them play on other servers. Like, I think some people play like Hypixel, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So it would the fresh perspective would definitely be valuable in a lot of different areas, like website, server, etc.
Just going back to Empo's question, are we going to be noticed when they'll do a review, or is it going to be surprising? So I'm assuming they'll tell us which week they'll like do the review, and I'll let everyone else know. I mean, it's very interesting because I've seen other servers where apparently the server owner didn't tell them, and the members were like completely surprised and taken aback by all these new people coming in, which I don't know if is the greatest thing. Yeah.
I mean, you could go either way of announcing it because it's like, I don't I the only kind of quote unquote special treatment that I would want to offer folks on this is fast tracking the processing of a member app,
Mm-hmm.
because that feedback on that process and the membership side is so critical.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I kind of would want them to have a normal-ish experience.
I guess if we tell, I guess if I think we're going to go with this route, but the other kind of special treatment is if the community is already knowing which week they're going to come in. I'd imagine that there would be some members who'd be like on alert for like new players and be like,
Oh yeah.
get ready to scream welcome
Oh,
at them, and like.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we already
Yeah.
do screen welcome, but yeah, people will be on high alert if they know what week we're on.
Yeah. So I think we can't really help, but that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should also. So how the you could any of you could always join the Syscraft Discord and see that channel yourself. And what happens is the mods I built in that community pin the really good feedback, like they usually it's like in one post or something. I'm considering maybe making if people don't want to go on that Discord, maybe making a temporary channel during that week here on the MRT Discord, or maybe even just a post. I'm not sure. Where I'll just take screenshots of the most relevant feedback and cross post them here, because I think that's going to be very, if it's about spawn, if it's about the tab list, if it's about anything else,
Yeah.
it's used. Yeah.
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 We'll definitely want to share it within here, across the whole community because, yeah, I suspect that not everyone's going to want to even try and join the Syscraft Discord.
we could do it as a Google Doc. I think that maybe not instead, maybe both, because also part of receiving feedback is also discuss it and whether it's some feedback's not completely irrelevant. So maybe just discussing what can be done about it and there might be several different ways of addressing it, right? So I think we should still have a Discord channel to discuss the feedback.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Okay.
But yeah, overall, I fully support listing us for this. So
Yeah, that's what it seems like the consensus will be, and we will do something. We will put something in place after the review period is complete to discuss the points of feedback.
There might be a GSM topic probably after I told them.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. How do people feel about? So again, I think it's fair. It's only fair that they would need to fill out a membership application, but how do people feel about fast tracking the processing of it? And what that would entail probably is if we know which of which players are the Syscraft review team, that essentially fast tracking it just means that we probably would be a little bit more lenient on some of the open-ended questions in particular. How do people feel about that?
I was actually under the impression that it would be just more that admins would be more present for the apps coming in, so they don't have to wait like say 2 or 3 days.
That too.
That's what it sounded like.
Okay. So it's a little different than what I was imagining.
But I mean, I agree with the like the thought, because like they're Syscraft people. They'd be here to review the server, not necessarily to be a part of the community. And again,
and again, I would find a lot of value in getting the feedback of, do they, if they're, if they go through that process, we approve it, do they feel like they're able to understand like the rest of the rank ladder? Do they feel like they would be able to, find a spot and start building a town, all the other stuff that members can do, if they even want to try to go down that path. But because typically that would entail them as someone coming back over, a couple sessions, because obviously you can't build right away on your first go.
Yeah, I think I'd lean not being lenient, because thinking about it, I think there is also value if they get rejected, and whether they can give feedback on whether that's how they feel about that, right?
True.
Is the feedback we give back to them, and this is a common complaint though. I don't know, like it's hard we can't really tell them the answers, of course, but is it enough feedback for them to understand what they're missing from their app, right? Like, did they get the rules questions wrong, or did they not provide enough reasons? I guess maybe if the reasons just say I'm here to review the server, because usually we don't approve that, right? But would that be okay? Like, they're not necessarily going to be here to stay, but for the purpose of giving feedback, that seems like a valid reason, right?
It is a valid reason.
In that sense, that would be the special treatment that to me, that would make sense.
Like, say if they get like a rules question wrong, like I would reject them then. But like for something like that, they don't particularly care about the server. They're here to like just review servers and not be part of the community long term. So I'm fine with that.
At least these are not Planet Minecraft reviewers, because oh boy. Okay, can we make that a very special, like a very special case? Like,
I'd be fine with that.
if they say they're here to review, then we'll be likely to approve their member app for the purposes of that.
Yeah, I say that's a legitimate reason.
Okay.
Okay.
And I guess I'll just communicate that to the people on that Discord, I guess.
Well,
it's kind of a cheat code.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because again, if anybody can join that server and see that thread, we don't want just someone, I guess the chance of someone who's not planning on giving an honest review and then using that as a way to bypass stuff and cause trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's slim enough. I don't know. You could go either way. And because honestly, there probably will be some people who will, even if you don't tell them, will just put, I'm here to review.
Yeah. From what I've heard from Dintin _ and from what I've seen from that community, it's generally pretty chill. Like I don't really see any immature folk who are just going to try to abuse this. I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah. So I mean, in that case,
and if people
I would
do,
trust your judgment on it.
And if people do, we can ban people.
We do have tools available to deal with that. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think like the extra leniency for like the open-ended questions will be fine.
Yeah. Okay. So Frumple, does that answer what you need?
Yep. I'm gonna go apply later today, and
okay.
We'll
excellent.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay. Cool. 6A MRT Valley Line extension allocations, because Fred wanted us to deal with it here. The only one that needs to be handed out is V51 to Spigot. I don't see any reason why we need to really discuss this, or if any objections, but just for the sake of formality. Going once on anything about this. Going twice. Okay. Cool. Stamp. Have fun, Fred.
And that's it.
And that's it, because Frosty did actually email us and short-circuited 6B. So we're good.
Mm-hmm.
That's the meeting.
Isn't it so much nicer? We're finished the GSM with 50 minutes.
That's
and we started
pretty good.
I'm surprised it took that long, actually, but
yeah. Well, yeah. But hey, you know what? The proposals channel is working great so far, I would say.
Yeah, like I imagine whenever the review period of that comes up, it'll happen very easily because I am very happy with how it's been going.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, that's it for the official content that we have. Sounds like there's a few people who are going to get a poker game going or something.
Did Elite give the trustee notes?
Why did he did not give them to me.
Okay.
He's not online, so
sneak past
so
that.
So we're just going to run away and ignore it. So
yeah, it seems like the trustee meeting didn't take off today, but I could be wrong.
It seems like the trustee meetings are kind of dead. So.
Oh fuck.
All right. What?
Oh, Elite just posted in meeting channel. Anyway.
Oh. Okay. All right. So poker is going to be starting at top of the hour. And London sounds like London's organizing. So if anyone is interested, watch the events stuff, and we'll go from there. Thanks all. Have a good weekend.
I'll go to general. I don't think I'm going to play poker.
Yeah, I got to leave in a little bit.
Okay. Bye-bye.